Okay, so it's 1 o'clock in the morning. 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Black ice on the road because it, you know, rained. It got cold, and then it didn't get cold, right? So it was black ice, and I'm cruising home, 1 o'clock, and I fall off the road, right? I mean, and I fall off the road, meaning like it's like I'm mulching myself into the environment, and I stop upside down. I'm on the ceiling of my and the light starts to show, right? In the morning it starts to come out, and I realize that I'm tangled up in the brush of, trees, and it was, yeah, branches, trees, brush, right? Not big lumbering trees, but brush. And no one could see me, right? I said no one could see me. And I said they must see the skid mark, on the road, and they'll say, where did the skid mark go? There was a point there where I said, you're not coming. And then that's when shock hit me, right? And shock feels like your visualization happened in my head. I completely relaxed, and it was fine, right? It was like zero, no anxiety. It was just quiet. I could see the silhouette of her, and it was just peace, and I fell asleep. And then it was super, super cold, right? I mean, I woke up cold, and I woke up to the sound of someone saying, "Are you awake?" And it was a woman. "Are you awake?" And first it's in your mind, and then I see a flashlight, like a flashlight light into the cabin, right? And I wake up and I said, "Hey, it's me, this and that. I've been here for whatever," and I started babbling, and and she was a real calm. I mean, I could imagine she was 35, blonde, a sandy blonde hair to her shoulders, and I could see the silhouette of her in the window, like she had the presence of mind to not to put the flash in the cabin, right? She left it outside, so I just saw the silhouette of her. I could kind of see like the trees, the trees or the bush in back of her, and then her silhouette, right? She's really calm, and she's just talking to me like she was talking to me over a fence, like she was my neighbor, and she was talking to me about, that the paramedics had come in. I contacted the paramedics, and they should be here. And so I I was still like I couldn't, I was delirious, right? And she reached her hand inside the window, and she held my hand, right? She says, hold my hand. And the minute it's right when I held her hand, I started to cry, right? I just like, it was like I was safe or whatever, right? And she kept talking to me like a normal woman would, right? And and then I don't know how long it was after that, but she and then I started to hear all these cars arrive, and ambulance, and and I had no idea, right? I just died, and I came back, and they said, yeah, we're gonna have to get, and some of my organs failed, or I just fell. I mean, I just started, so I said, yeah, I'm gonna die, and I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know. And I must have been asleep for a couple of days too, because I lost a lot of blood, right? And it was a head injury. That's where all the blood was coming from. It was, that's why I didn't see it, because it's in the back of my head when I. And why wouldn't she come back to thank her, right? One thing is, I only thought I was there overnight, but I wasn't. I was there 2.5 days. I must have just passed out for the extra day, but I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know until they said, yeah, everyone was looking for you, you know. My tongue, I mean, it's like I had my mouth open, and I lost all this blood. And how did the lady come down and call the paramedics? Because there was no cell phones that day, you know. In that time, there was no cell phones. So she says, yeah, I called the paramedics. I think she said that. She called the paramedics. That's how they got there. And why? How did she know I was there? Right? And then call the paramedics. Like, if she saw a light, wouldn't she go to see if there was someone down there, right? But she called the paramedics, and she never visited me, right? She never came back. And when I remember, I said, "Can you tell the paramedic that I want to, if she can come by, I want to thank her, right?" And no one listened to me, because at the time I was saying that she was in her gown, her nightgown. And I said, well, I was probably hallucinated, because those smocks that they wear in the hospital, they could be looked at gowns, right? Like they're, you know what I mean? Like they're smocks that they wear. So maybe I just thought that she was wearing her gown, but it's actually a smock. And they said, no, she's not a paramedic. And we don't have anybody that's a female in our paramedic group, right? And so they never got back to me. And my dad actually told me this, right? Like, yeah, you're telling them that she was in a nightgown, and they just shrugged it off like you're delirious when you're talking to them. And you're delirious. So I never heard from her. And why wouldn't she come back to say hello at least, right? Because the base is, it's a small town, right? And you get racked up like that. Everyone knows, right? Well, why didn't she come by? She never just showed up. And how did she get word to the paramedics? You know what I mean? Like, she would have had to come down. I mean, if you were there, you'd see the lights, you'd go, and then would you look to see if someone was alive, or would you just go and get a paramedic? So that was a mystery, right? How did I, what a coincidence all these things happen. Just happened to be in place where I got found. And how come I never heard from her, right? That's the biggest mystery for me. Like, she never, I mean, if she's gonna call the ambulance and come down and sit with me for however long it was in the cold, hold my hand, and pretty much rescued me, right?
Feeling scared, she's prepared to give up everything. She can't stand to feel like half of her is fading. He will choose the only way to rid her of the pain. Take her soul now. The decision has been
reached her hand inside the window.
This time when I reached out my hand,
She held my hand